Well, that third solo act really had no chance of getting the double on here, but for some fucking reason, I have had such a hard time with this song. One frame away, actually. The reason I said I had no chance is just because internally I was not committed to getting the double, which you really need to be for doubles on this game engine, unless I just got insanely lucky, which I almost did, but I just wasn't in the right headspace to really try to abuse that back end. And there's a very good chance that if I did hit it, I would have fucked up the last act. So yeah, I probably will try for that act at some point. I just, again, so fed up with this song and all the stupid ass ways I was throwing runs away that I just wanted to clutch a tied first. So now that I have this score, hopefully it won't be such a pain in the ass just to get back to solo 3 for more attempts at that double, but I don't have a plan of attack for that for now.
Bless these children. Blessed he who bound with you. Blessed he who giveth to thee. All right, folks. Now I want you to take a step back. I want you to dig into those pockets. I want you to dig deep for me now. I want you to
Holy shit. I'm pretty sure that's optimal. Oh my fucking god, I can't believe I got this. Let alone in one... Well, this isn't actually one session. I've tried for this, like, very loosely on and off since I got the tied first over 2 months ago, but never really committed to it because this is such an annoying piece of shit to grind. Oh my fucking god! Yes! Oh my god! Holy shit, I had no idea how long this was gonna potentially drag on for, if I was even able to do it at all. The fact I got through this without any dropped ticks also, like, man, I am just super satisfied. I just pulled up my OBS, it said there was an encoding overload. I had something running that I normally don't. So apologies if there are any drop frames. It's gonna really suck if there were dropped frames around that double squeeze, but what are you gonna do? Hardware is hardware. As long as it's recorded and present. I mean, again, even in this game, since there's no, like, at least known about exploit, like lag glitch, pictures are generally sufficient for proof. It just, obviously, I would like to have a good quality video of this. Okay, well, just pulled the video up. Looks slightly choppy past Solo 3, which, again, is fine. But, yeah, Solo looks completely smooth. I did see that front-end execution for the solo act, and this was complete luck that I got this. That execution was incredibly sloppy. So I wanted to do the method that I did for No One Knows on the second act for that double, using the pre-anchor extended hit window method. It's a pretty similar setup overall to that act, especially because I'm using the extended hit window fret trick on the preceding green to just give myself as much time as possible to get zoned in on the front end and prevent dropping ticks. But I just could not force my stupid brain to release red early enough. I think here it also is complicated by the fact that I'm doing fast strumming after the front end, whereas the No One Knows act, it's just a single note with a big dynamic hit window behind it. So I don't need to strum that following note nearly as quickly. And also that chord that follows the front end on that act can benefit from extended hit window, whereas here it can't. So yeah, again, similar setup involving the same frets, but there's also a lot of differences that make this one much more difficult. And on top of that, A, this song is way harder. B, it's way deeper into the song, which I cannot stress how big of a factor that is. And C, you have all of the, aside from just the general difficulty of Solo 2 and 3, you have the preceding acts of 2 and 3, which are not difficult, but can be headaches in their own way. Act 2, I'm pretty sure, is like one of those fence-leaning full bars, at least for the way I was executing Act 1, which was to try to hit the blue sustain that starts the first phrase for Act 2 pretty much as late as possible to make that act as consistent as possible. But I've always just had so much variance with that act that, like, I just figured recently that was probably the case. I probably just wasn't getting a full bar a majority of the time, or at least consistently by any means, even when fishing for pretty significant early whammy on the following phrases. And yeah, looking at the path immediately, it's very apparent to me that that's the case. I don't know why I just didn't... It just seemed like so simple and straightforward, and the visual indication of the full bar was just so hard to tell. I just assumed it was a generic full bar and was like a tight timing, but no, I was just being stupid. And in fact, it's actually a half beat more lenient than Act 1 with a full bar. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. You know, I was getting significantly late whammy on that first blue just because I assumed it was a full bar act, stupidly. So totally my fault there. But at the same time, trying to make Act 1 consistent otherwise is a huge pain in the ass. So it's like you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place there, or more accurately, stuck between a back end and a star power phrase. And then Act 3, for whatever reason, I think I overestimated how strict timing wise that act was. I was using extended hit window on it for like 90% of my playtime, including the tied first. But that act's whammy is also kind of a crapshoot, and not really because of the first note in the phrase, like the first phrase of Act 2, but because of the red behind that orange strum. Trying to get decent whammy off that while not dropping ticks at the end of the blue is really irritating. And basically all my struggle with that whammy was just dropping ticks involuntarily. Like, I thought that the blue sustain was a couple frames over, but I would still drop a tick on it. Very frustrating. But yeah, I don't think I ever missed Act 3 on the back end from not having enough star power or not a good enough front end. So dropping extended hit window for that was something I should have done a while ago. I was also missing on that green triplet strum before the front end occasionally, just getting myself in the zone for the front end, and that, yeah, a lot of struggles with Act 3 for basically no reason. That's all I'm getting at. Yeah, it feels kind of shitty, but just reviewing that execution, I just got incredibly lucky this run, hitting that double. At the very least, it isn't the first time I've hit the double. The only other time I hit it was like an hour before this run, but that execution and review was clean, so I at least know that I can perform it properly. Just got super lucky here. And honestly, not having a choke afterwards is kind of nuts to me. And the reason I delayed that last act by a note is because I did some TAS work on this song. There is at least one whammy act that isn't on the upper bound path, and it was also on a single whammy act with a max dynamic hit window, which this act also is. So I couldn't rule out that there wasn't another chord possible on that last act. But anyway, as I was tassing the act out, in the task run, the front end of the path act was misaligned with the strike line, and the note after wasn't. As for if that ended up mattering frame data wise, I didn't even check because I was just looking for an extra chord on the back end, and it wasn't possible by like 3 or more frames. But anyway, just taking advantage of what I could there. And more importantly, I think having a back end, even at this slow of tempo where this shouldn't be a concern, having a back end on sequential notes is always something that I just look for if I can, just to reduce whatever chance of not fretting / forming the note on the frame you strum and potentially missing out in that regard. But yeah, as for the primary task findings, why I did it, Act 3, it's the only thing with any potential, obviously. And both the upper bound and nearly ideal ticks were impossible by multiple frames. So even with the hardware bias, not only do I doubt that it's possible in general, but trying to optimize that star power phrase and front end, particularly the nearly ideal front end, like fuck that. But either way, I seriously doubt there is anything else possible in that act, or at the very least feasible. But time will tell, as it always does.